Hello and welcome back. It's Wednesday, in the blink of an eye, also the third day of February, and another day well above average, 70 degrees and better for some of us yesterday by a degree or two. 65 when I sat down behind the desk and holding. Enjoy it, or hope you have, because the 40s return tomorrow, but still drier for at least the majority of your forecast. You know, we just got out relatively not so far ago, not so long ago, out of a December that was one of the warmest on record. One of the latest first snowfalls ever, and then January has now worked itself out to now officially being the 12th coolest at the Jackson Weather Service office. Precipitation pretty much right on par and in the middle of where it should be. It was also the 19th driest or 18th wettest January on record. Their records, of course, go back to the early 80s, 81, I believe it is. It was also the third snowiest January per their records. Well, your weather forecast, of course, is a little more easygoing this time around, and don't know how long that will hold out, and don't know how long it will be before winter makes a return. It will, and your forecast is forthcoming. Also in headlines tonight, a Montgomery County home was destroyed by a fire early this morning. Pikeville man has now been arrested for the latest armed robbery in eastern Kentucky. A lot of things to talk about basketball-wise, and we're getting close to the end of the season, and district standings are starting to get or come into view and understanding. So a lot of entertaining news to go out on that note towards the latter part of the program. We'll get to that in just a few moments. Regional reports this evening do include an armed robber that walked into a Pikeville pharmacy yesterday and then was seen walking out of a wooded area in Floyd County by a state police trooper and is now lodged in the Pike County Regional Detention Center. As I mentioned on last night's program, around 9:30 or shortly thereafter yesterday morning, troopers at Post 9 in Pikeville got a call of an armed robbery at Commonwealth Pharmacy in Pikeville. Troopers responded to the scene, discovered that a male subject entered the pharmacy, pulled a handgun, and then demanded prescription medication. A description was given of the individual soon thereafter, about 5'7", describing what he was wearing, also saying that he had fled on foot. They had used all their resources, including K-9 units from various offices and all officers in that area to try to find him yesterday, but were unable to do so. In the latest update, just after 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, we've now learned that a trooper, Jeffrey Stumbo, saw a Christopher Daniels, 33 of Pikeville, coming out of a wooded area on the left fork of Toller Creek in Floyd County, and he contacted Daniels after noticing that he fit the description of the subject that was wanted in the armed robbery of Commonwealth Pharmacy. After the investigation, it was determined that Daniels indeed was the suspect and was placed under arrest. He was said to have come into the pharmacy, jumped the counter, and requested Suboxone and other medications and prescription medication that's used to most often treat individuals with a serious drug habit in order to try to get them off of their former drug of choice. Our U.S. Congressman Hal Rogers, joined by other legislators from states such as Pennsylvania and Virginia, coal-producing states, mind you, jointly filed the RECLAIM Act earlier today. RECLAIM stands for Revitalizing the Economy of Coal Communities by Leveraging Local Activities and Investing More. It is going to use money from the Federal Abandoned Mine Land Fund, as well as taking $200 million out of that $1 billion and then distributing it among participating states over the course of 5 years. It's a new bipartisan bill that's aimed to accelerate $1 billion in available funding in the Abandoned Mine Reclamation AML Fund to revitalize coal communities hardest hit by the downturn of the coal industries. Coal communities throughout the entire United States have been struggling, of course, to cope with significant job losses after a decrease in nationwide coal production in recent years, and the RECLAIM Act aims to support economic and community development projects in those areas. Specifically, says Rogers in his press release, the legislation releases $1 billion from the existing balance in the AML funds to assist communities that have traditionally relied on the coal industry for employment or have recently experienced significant coal job losses. Under the plan, $200 million will be distributed to participating states annually for 5 years, and the legislation empowers states and Indian tribes to work with coal communities to identify and fund economic development projects on AML sites. Local news is next. for high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family. A direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Very early this morning, right around the 4:30 a.m. hour, a McGoffin County house was completely destroyed by this fire. The Sagersville Fire Department responded, requesting mutual aid from District 3, while they were able to save a majority of the structure. Heat, water, smoke, and fire damage all, of course, contributed to a total loss. The Sagersville Fire Department toned out by McGoffin County 911 sometime around 4:30 to the residents of an Adam Minix, a single-wide mobile home on the left of Route 7, just as you will be exiting, I guess, the Minix curve going into the Mason Stretch. It sits upon the embankment there somewhat. They found this end of the mobile home engulfed in flame. Minix was not at home at the time of the fire, but did return while firemen were on scene. I spoke with Fire Chief Paul Howard, who was just exiting a meeting earlier. We spoke on the telephone briefly. He gave me the following details, saying that it appeared as though the fire did erupt in this portion of the home, a bedroom and bathroom area where they were able to confine the fire to. However, smoke and water damage, as I said, of course, completely destroyed most all of his belongings and the rest of the structure. Howard says that there's no suspicious activity involved or questioned, but the exact cause of the fire is still yet to be determined. It did result in a total loss for Minix. The District 3 Fire Department also responded, providing additional water and manpower. I'm leaving room for a whole lot to talk about in sports tonight. Highlights, scores, an interview, and some concern for a star McGoffin County player as to whether or not he'll be able to return this season. All of that in just a second. So we've got that in the works. Let me take you on over to tonight's Farm Bureau, McGoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar, where our friends at Kearney Free Will Baptist want to remind you that you're invited to join them. They're picking and a-grinning this Saturday at 7, and this is your invitation to come on over and enjoy some special time with them. A reminder from the Lakefront Church of God, the Water into Wine Food Pantry, who had to cancel, of course, due to Winter Storm Jonas, will be back up for service this coming Wednesday, a week from today, 8:30 till 3. And I'll remind you about it when it gets a little closer as well. Another reminder about the annual Sweetheart Banquet from everyone at the Burning Fork Community Church, Saturday the 13th. I'm telling you about it now, so you'll go ahead and make plans, and you'll call and get your reservations in, whether you plan to come and dine in or carry out. 500, 600, maybe even more people do every year. It's been a long-standing tradition and their biggest fundraiser of the event. And then, of course, it all helps to go support their church and the community at large as well. You can call the numbers there on your screen, Kenneth and Irma Conley or Pastor Doug Dunn. And call me if you got a calendar announcement, birthday, anniversary, or otherwise, or mail, email, phone, fax, Facebook. Drop it off here at the studio. And remember, in addition to that, catch our program the following day on our website at yournewstoday.com. The McGoffin County Funeral Home provides funeral service announcements for the viewing area, and we do so tonight beginning with 66-year-old Walter Lee Thompson, who of Staffordsville passed away on the 1st, leaving behind his wife, Virginia Rose Wilson Thompson, daughters Rosalie and Elizabeth Marie Thompson, and Jennifer Ward. Visitation is this evening, all day tomorrow, and then prior to services, they're going to start Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, all from the Preston Funeral Home. I have two other announcements just in. One that I was asked to say in loving memory of Lester Wheeler from his granddaughter Wendy, great-grandson Aiden, who miss and love him deeply. We also have an announcement, a partial announcement just in from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. It tells me that services for 88-year-old David Henry Howard of Cincinnati, Ohio, formerly of McGoffin County, are being arranged at this time but are not complete, but will be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Once again, we've just heard of the passing of 88-year-old David Henry Howard of Cincinnati, formerly of McGoffin. A lot of ground to cover in high school basketball tonight, not just here, but in the viewing area and elsewhere to some degree. We'll begin with last night's matchup, the Hornets and the Musketeers of Greenup County. It was a win the Hornets pulled off without one of their key players, one that may be out for well, the rest of the season and perhaps the rest of his high school career. You'll notice he's hard to miss. You'll notice senior center Jacob Isaac not dressing for last night's game, walking towards the bench as the game was ready for tip-off. More on his injury and prognosis in just a few moments. The game began last night, as does our footage, however, with a special recognition. Another Hornet honored for reaching another milestone, yet another member of the 1,000 Point Club.
1,000 Point Club, number 12, Jaron Lovely.
The night began with a pre-game honor to junior guard Jaron Lovely, recognized as the latest member of the MCHS 1,000 Point Club, the fourth Hornet scoring honor this season. After the tip, it was 25-34 in favor of the home team at the half. The Hornets were up 11 halfway through the third quarter on their way to a 13-point win over Greenup.
I thought we played pretty well last night. First game without Jacob in the lineup for us last night. He's still injured a little bit. Trent played really well. Jaron played well. We got some good bench play by Tyler Fitzpatrick last night. He came out, I think he had 8. Greenup shoots it well. They're a good three-point shooting team. We handled the pressure. They cut the lead down to 6. We come back, got the score up to 10. I think Trenton hit about 8 free throws in the fourth quarter, kind of sealed it away for us last night.
A solid win for the Hornets, their 15th of the season with only 5 losses, and that puts them in a solid number 2 position in 15th Region boys basketball. A win they accomplished without their big man Jacob Isaac, something they hope they won't have to do in the future. Isaac went down in the previous game, had a scan done last night, and coaches right now and his teammates are awaiting what they hope will be the best news possible, but also, of course, have to some degree, fear the worst.
We're going to wait and see. He hurt his knee a little bit the other night, and we're just going to wait and see what the doctor tells us later today. We lose, me personally, the best big guy in the 15th region. I might be a little prejudiced, but I think he's the best center in the 15th region. Now, if he's out, Dalton Peters, Ryan Mullins, Tyler Fitzpatrick, everybody has to step their game up inside for us. We have to come together more as a team, because he's dominant. He's a good rebounder. He's a good scorer. He's a good defender. We just gotta come together.
And with 7 games until the end of the regular season schedule, there's one all-important district matchup left.
We're sitting at 4-1, us and Johnson Central both. We still got one more game, so do they. Now, if we beat Sheldon Clark next week, we have a coin toss for whoever gets the 1 seed. We're sold in either the 1 or 2 seed. So that means if you get the 1, you play the 4. If you get the 2, you play the 3. It all depends next Thursday night. We go to Sheldon Clark. If we pull that win out, we'll flip a coin with Johnson Central, so who gets the 1 seed. If you lose the coin toss, you go to the 2, and you would play Paintsville at Paintsville. You get the 1, you'll play Sheldon Clark. Is the way it's set up so far.
And while it's not a district game, it's a huge game. Their next game for the Hornets tomorrow night as they host the Cougars of Morgan County. That means they're hosting the top team in the 16th region and their top scorer, Jordan Perry, who set, of course, a new scoring record for the program, 3,000 points versus East Carter back on the 15th. The Cougars right now 18-5, 15-2 in the district, and as a team have amassed over 1,600 points this season. And on another similar and outstanding note, while the team is 11-11 into the season thus far, Whitney Creech of the Jenkins Lady Cavaliers broke the all-time scoring record last night with 71 personal points at Paintsville. And with that performance, she has taken down 4,957 career points, besting former record holder Jamie Walsh's 4,948. And she is one of only 3 ladies to ever score over 4,000 career points in the state of Kentucky. And Waltz's record had stood for nearly 20 years, 19 and counting. Now let's get caught up on some other scores. Johnson Central and the Eagles, a loss by 2, just 2, 88-86 final score against South Floyd last night. That was a regional loss that puts the boys from Central at 12-9. They're still 4-1 in the district, as Coach Russell referred to just a few moments ago, so they're faring very well there. But 3 more wins on the season than losses. Now that also puts them at Paintsville tomorrow night. That's always a course, good for a night of high school basketball entertainment. First matchup between them and Paintsville, I think, turned out 86-52, if I'm not mistaken. Rolling on over to the Lady Eagles and Coach Darren Rice, a win by 10 over Knott Central. That was this past Sunday night. They've had a few days off, and in fact will have almost a whole week off as they're not playing until Friday night. They're hosting the Lady Hornets of Magoffin County. Another exciting night of high school basketball. Lady Eagles from Central are 12-8 right now. They're also 4-1 in the district. Turning over to Magoffin County, as we just brought you up to date on the boys, 70-57. Maybe I didn't get the final score. 70-57 was the final score last night. The boys from Magoffin, 15-5, 4-1 in district play, as we've already referred to. 14-3 in the region. That puts them in number 2 position behind Lawrence County in 15th region basketball as far as wins and losses. Lawrence County in 19-4. And once again, they're hosting Morgan County tomorrow night. I'll give you the game time in just a moment. It has changed for tomorrow's special activities. As for the Lady Hornets, a win by 7 over Pikeville. That was this past Monday night, 65-58, the final score. That puts the ladies from Magoffin 13-7, 3-2 in the district. They are, as we just said, or as I just said, at Central this Friday night for their next matchup. Lady Hornets, as most everyone else, have a handful of games. Looks as though 7 on the regular season schedule. And Magoffin County will be hosting Morgan County as they're getting on the road and coming to Magoffin County tomorrow night. This is going to be a great game all the way around. 57-43 was the Cougars' last matchup. That was last night on the road at East Carter. The boys from Morgan County are 18-5, 5-2 in the district, and we've already talked about how they can definitely shoot the lights out. The team has amassed over 1,600 points, and then, of course, their leading scorer, Jordan Perry, is known to add a few of those to the tally. For the Lady Cougars, a loss, 37-51 was the final score against Bath County. They hosted Bath County this past Monday night. They're behind the 8 ball, so to speak, on the season schedule, 10-12, 10 wins, 12 losses in the district arena. They are 2-1. They're also hosting East Carter tonight. They're hosting East Carter tonight. My apologies. I thought I had West. It is East Carter tonight. Tip-off set for 7:30. The boys from Paintsville suffered a loss at the hands of Morgan County, as we referred to earlier. That was last night. That was actually night before last. They are hosting Johnson Central tomorrow night. Tip-off set for 7:30. The boys from Paintsville have had a struggling season thus far. 5 wins, 12 losses, and they're behind even in the district at 2-3. And lastly, the Lady Tigers and Coach Mark Baldwin, a loss by 3 to Jenkins. We kind of referred to that too. 90-87 was the final score, and they're dead even on the season, 10-10 and 1-2 in the district. The Lady Tigers are hosting Sheldon Clark this Friday. Tip-off set for 7:30 with only 5 games on their regular season schedule thereafter. And going back to senior night for the Hornets tomorrow night, ceremonies will start at 6 o'clock. There will be no junior varsity contest, and tip-off for the varsity game has been bumped up to about 7:15 if the ceremonies wrap up in time. Remember, they'll be honoring senior dancers and boys basketball players. Now for a little Licking Valley RECC weather. 31 is your low for tonight. That means we'll have to fall another 30 degrees to get there. I'm at 61 and falling right now at the 6 o'clock hour or shortly thereafter. And we topped out at 65 here at the newsroom today. Another gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. Look for some increasing clouds tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles after 2 a.m. You know, right on that freezing mark. Could be a flake or two, but that's just about it winter weather-wise. We've had dry and mild air again today. And with that high pressure pushing all the rains we saw during the overnight on off to the east, rainfall events, I had about 1.25 inches of rainfall here last night. That also, the high pressure, that also helped calm the winds thereafter. But from there on, after tonight, that is, cooler and really pretty much weather on par for the season. 40 for your daytime high tomorrow. I think we'll see 20 for tomorrow night's low. Partly sunny. with maybe a flurry or two early in the morning. But I think for the most part, very few flurries, very little precipitation, just a slight chance thereof. So partly sunny sums it up tomorrow. 41, winds out of the west 5 to 7 on tomorrow as well. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies, same northwest wind, 5 miles per hour or so. Friday, sunny and 43 degrees. 25 for nighttime lows. Might actually see temperatures dip a little bit lower than that Friday night, maybe closer to 22, 21 degrees. Still, nevertheless, mostly clear skies and calm winds will prevail. Saturday, more sunshine, more temperatures closer to where they should be. 43 high, 25 low, mostly sunny, partly cloudy late. Sunday, wrapping up your weekend with more sunshine above. Super Bowl Sunday looks super at 48, 49 degrees. That's close to 50, 31 for nighttime lows. I do have there at the bottom of your screen a 20% chance of some showers late Sunday night. Right now, I'm going to bump that up and roll it on over to Monday because I don't think we're going to see it until then, mainly around 8 or 9 in the a.m. possibly, and then we'll see 46 degrees and 28 for your low on Monday, and that'll be our next real shot of some precipitation, and then there is some mention of some snow and some showers thereafter next week as temperatures will take a dive back to winter conditions with nighttime lows in the teens and daytime highs in the 20s. And that's going to wrap it up this evening, with the exception of reminding you or announcing that the McGoffin County Fiscal Court did meet in special session earlier today. I had a camera there, a report tomorrow, as well as other news that you'll only find if you're joining us tomorrow and each and every weeknight at 6 and or 11 for your news today. Good night, and thank you for being a part of our show.